Have you ever noticed a change? Not during the day, but at night, when it's time to sleep, they turn away. They stay up longer. They choose distance, even when you're right there. And suddenly, something that used to feel natural starts to feel strange. Because sleeping together isn't just about rest. It's about closeness, routine, connection without words. So when that changes, it doesn't feel small. It feels personal. And you start wondering, what does this actually mean? Here's the truth most people don't talk about. Changes in sleeping behavior are rarely random. Psychology links this to intimacy patterns, the subtle routines that reflect emotional and relational connection. And when those patterns shift, there's usually something underneath it. Not always something dramatic, but always something real. So in this video, we're breaking down 10 possible meanings behind this behavior, what it might signal emotionally, psychologically, and relationally. Because once you understand this, you stop guessing and start seeing what's really happening beneath the surface. Before jumping to conclusions, there's something important to understand. Not every change in behavior is about the relationship. Sometimes it's internal. Stress, mental overload, fatigue, personal struggles. Psychology refers to this as emotional overflow, when internal pressure reduces someone's capacity for closeness. Because when someone is overwhelmed, their priority shifts from connection to regulation. They may need space, silence, distance, not because they don't care, but because they're trying to manage what's happening inside them, and sleep becomes part of that. They might stay awake longer to decompress, or create physical space to feel less pressured. And the message underneath might be, I'm dealing with something I haven't fully processed. I don't have the emotional energy right now. I need space. Not because of you, but because of me. And this is where misunderstanding often begins. You interpret distance as rejection, but in reality, it may be self-regulation. So before assuming the worst, ask, is this about the relationship or something they're going through individually? Because sometimes the behavior looks personal, but the cause isn't. Now, let's go deeper. Because sometimes it is about the relationship. Not in an obvious way, but in a subtle emotional shift. Less conversation at night, less closeness, less natural connection before sleep. And over time, the space between you starts to feel intentional. Psychology calls this emotional distancing, a gradual reduction in closeness when connection weakens. Because nighttime is one of the most vulnerable moments in a relationship. It's where barriers drop, where people connect without distractions. So when that disappears, it often signals something underneath. I don't feel as emotionally connected as before. Something has changed. Even if I haven't said it, I'm creating space without explaining it. Not always consciously, but behavior reflects it. And here's what makes this important. Emotional distance rarely starts with big actions. It starts with small shifts, like how someone chooses to be close or not. Let's address something deeper and harder to ignore. Sleeping together is not just physical. It's tied to intimacy, closeness, touch, possibility of connection. So when someone consistently avoids that space, it can reflect something specific: avoidance. Psychology refers to this as intimacy avoidance, when someone distances themselves from situations that may lead to emotional or physical closeness. And the reasons can vary: unresolved conflict, emotional discomfort, loss of desire, or even internal struggles with vulnerability. But the behavior sends a message: I'm avoiding a level of closeness right now. I don't feel comfortable being that connected. There's something I'm not addressing directly. And this is where patterns matter, because occasional distance is normal, but consistent avoidance always means something. Sometimes nothing is wrong, no conflict, no major issue, just routine. Life becomes predictable, become repetitive. Nights become functional. Sleep turns into a task, not a shared moment. Psychology calls this relational habituation, when emotional intensity fades due to repetition without renewal. And this creates a quiet shift. Connection becomes optional. Presence becomes automatic. Closeness becomes less intentional. And the message underneath is simple. We've stopped creating moments and started just existing. And over time, that reduces emotional depth. Not because love is gone, but because it's no longer being activated. Sometimes the distance at night is not random. It's emotional. Something happened. Something was felt. Something was never resolved. And instead of being expressed, it's carried. Psychology refers to this as suppressed resentment, unresolved emotions that affect behavior without direct communication. And this often shows up in subtle ways. Less closeness, less warmth, more distance, especially in vulnerable moments like bedtime. Because underneath, the message might be, I'm still affected by something we didn't resolve. I don't feel the same openness right now. I'm creating space instead of addressing it. And over time, this creates disconnection. Not from lack of love, but from lack of resolution. This is one of the most sensitive interpretations, but it needs to be addressed. Because physical distance can sometimes reflect a shift in desire. Not always permanent, not always intentional, but noticeable. Psychology links this to attraction fluctuation, the natural variation in desire influenced by emotional, psychological, and relational factors. And when desire decreases, behavior changes. Less touch, less closeness, less interest in shared physical space. And the message might be, my level of attraction or desire has changed. I'm not feeling the same intensity right now. There's something affecting how I connect physically. And while this is uncomfortable, ignoring it doesn't make it disappear. Understanding it does. Sometimes the issue is not lack of love, but excess pressure. If closeness feels expected or tied to obligation, it can create resistance. Psychology calls this emotional pressure response when someone distances themselves to regain autonomy. And the message underneath becomes, I need space to feel like myself again. I don't want closeness to feel like a requirement. I need breathing room, not expectation. And this is important. Too much pressure can reduce natural connection, even when feelings are still there. One of the most dangerous situations is when someone disconnects gradually, without noticing. No clear moment, no clear reason, just less presence, less intention, less emotional investment. Psychology refers to this as passive disconnection, when connection fades without active awareness, and the message is subtle, I'm here, but not fully engaged anymore. And this often shows up in routines like sleep, because those moments reveal the truth, whether someone seeks closeness or avoids it. So what does it really mean when he doesn't sleep with you? Here's the truth. One moment means nothing. A pattern means everything, because behavior on its own is neutral, but repeated behavior is communication. So instead of focusing on a single night, ask, is this consistent? Is it increasing? Is it connected to other changes? Because the meaning is not in the action. It's in the pattern behind it. And once you understand that, you stop overthinking isolated moments and start seeing the real message. So now you see it clearly. It was never just about sleeping. It was about connection, closeness, presence, emotion. And when those shift, behavior reflects it. So don't jump to conclusions. But don't ignore patterns either, because relationships don't speak only through words. They speak through habits, through choices, through the small things that change over time. And the sooner you notice them, the sooner you understand what's really happening. Be honest. Have you ever noticed a change like this in your relationship? What do you think it really meant? Comment below. I read everything. And if you want to understand what behaviors really reveal in a relationship, subscribe now. Because here, we don't just observe actions, we decode them.